Welcome back to Class Coders. We're going to look at today some of the fundamentals of coding in C++, which include the basics of the language itself and why we have some of the parts at the top of the project that we don't play with all the time, but at least we put there every project. As well as we're going to look at what an identifier is and variables and constant kind of things, literals. We're going to take a look at a little bit of that. Not a constant declaration, so hold on to that for a moment. But first, we're going to look at what string literals are and numeric literals and things like that, so the computer can communicate with us. So that's the general topic of this video. So let's take a look. All right, so let's get started with the includes. The include directives are already compiled code that the C++ library that is contained within the language has for us to use. Now, there's so much in the library, it's impossible for the computer to actually put all of it into every project. That would be overkill. It would be wasting memory space when you go to run the project. It's just so much that you don't use it all, so we only include when we need it. So let's take a look at a scenario, all right, here in a moment. All right. So here the idea is that we're going to include other files that already exist, and these are things that have already, like I said, they've been compiled already, so we don't need to worry about it. So let's take a look at a project that has this situation going on. So in this rectangle project, you might recognize this scenario from one of the ICO projects you did in the last unit. So here is the programming project that goes with that. All right. So in this programming project, we're programming to calculate the perimeter, area, and diagonal of a rectangle. So every project comes with, that we use, that whenever we open up code blocks, comes with the IO stream already included. That allows us to do the C-in, C-out. IO stands for input, output. Streaming is the streaming of data back and forth. So that library is assumed that we're going to use it all the time. So unless we're doing strictly files and this computer program just kind of runs autonomously without us having to input anything from the keyboard, then that's the only time I would think you don't use the IO stream include at the top. But the one we have added here is a very practical one. I've included the CMath one. Now that means the math functions that are being included. Now what's in this library include your square root and square and logarithms and trigonometrics, you name it mathematically. If it's a function on your calculator, if you think of that way, it's going to be a function in here. So these things already exist for us, so we don't have to program how to calculate a square root. It's already here for us. So we need to include that if we're going to use it, which we need to when we calculate the diagonal length of a rectangle. All right. So let's take a look at the project. Here we go. So just a general cout just to make sure things are running okay. I have declarations, which are my variables that I'm going to be using. We'll be explaining those back in a second. The input, which is going on here, and then I have calculations. So you can see I'm calculating perimeter, area, and the length of the diagonal. And the outputs are then down here. So this CMath is needed to do right here. In order for us to have the sqrt available, the square root, we need this command. So you can see if I take this and comment this line out briefly, so now the computer doesn't know that it exists, and I go to run it, I get a build error. You see I got a build message down here that just flashed by. I'll scroll back to see if we can find it. It says POW was not declared in this scope, and SQRT was not declared in this scope. That's because the computer doesn't know what those identifying things are. All right. So when we include that command again, and now let's build and run. Now it goes through the whole process. Everybody's happy. And it's taking me through the project. So what is the length of your rectangle? Let's just keep this a nice simple, let's do 3. Let's say the width is 4, and that'll give us a perimeter of 14. Yep, 7 doubled. The area is 4 times 3, 12, awesome. And the diagonal length is 5, all right, a 3, 4, 5 triangle. So for those of you that are familiar with Pythagorean theorem, there it is, all right. All right, so let's take back, that's enough about the include. Let's take now a look at the next piece. So let's jump back and let's talk about variables and literals. All right, so you saw in that project there are some variables and there are literals. So what are they? Well, variables are going to be locations that we as programmers are going to need to hold memory locations. So if we need something to be held in memory, so after somebody inputted the 3 for the length, I need that stored somewhere. So that's going to be a variable. The 4 needs to be stored in its own variable. So what are variables? Anything that we can change, manipulate during the course of a project, or can be a value of a certain type, we're going to need to do that. We'll talk more about declaring them in the next video, but for now, that's all a variable does. A literal is going to be a numeric value. So you saw in the formula 2 times the quantity of the length and width. So that 2 is a literal because it already has a value that can't be changed. It is a constant. 2 is 2, 3 is 3, 4 is 4, etc. Strings are also literals, and we saw those in the example every time we did a program, a quote. So here's an example of in this little mini project, the variable declaration, and then there's going to become the numeric literal, all right? An integer literal, they call it because it's an integer number. It can be float, it can be a double as well, it can be whatever the data type it recognizes. Again, we'll talk more about data types momentarily. So there's your integer literal in this one about apples. There's 20, all right? And there's going to be some string literals here, anything in double quotes. So you saw that in my project as well. We'll get back to it, and we'll take a look and see if you can identify them, where the string literals are. We have anything in quotes that is being quoted. So it's a constant. The computer's not changing it, calculating it, twisting it around to do anything. It's literally taking it and quoting it, putting it into the project or into the output screen in this case because it's in the middle of a cout command sentence. So, all right, so let's take a look. That's our next topic. So let's take a back look at the project. Where's the project? There it is. So in our project here with the rectangles, we're looking at the situation where there's a cout message. So again, a string literal, another string literal in the next cout message, another cout. You can see I've used a lot of string literals just to get information out to the person reading and watching the project run in front of them so they're informed of what's going on. All right. If I did not put these string literals here, so let's comment those out for a second, the project will still run. All right. But what's the importance here of this? So we've got to go in here. I'm going to stop the last project from running. So let's now build and run this. And there it is. So if I take those string literals out, hello fellow rectangle, so I know I'm running. Now what? Well, without that string literal being quoted out there, I have no idea if I'm just running this cold, what this is supposed to do. Now, because I coded this and you've watched this, you might be like, well, Mr. Scholl, it wants the length and it wants the width. So, okay, I can put a 3 and a 4 in there. Awesome, there they go. And then the project will run. But without the string literal, it's very confusing and can be confusing to somebody that's testing a project that's a lot larger. You might not know where the error is, or maybe something is messing up, and it's like, you don't have labels going on communicating with you as the project is flowing. You can get lost in your 200 to 500 line project very easily. So we use string literals, all right, whenever possible to prompt the user and give labeling to output. So you can still see I have all the labels here for the output of that project for the 3 calculations. All right, there's this constant. I didn't do the numeric literal, the 2. I didn't do a lot of other ones in here. I have another 2 here for squaring, and when I do the squaring of the width, I put them in there with the power function. All right, so let's go back to the PowerPoint. Let's talk about identifiers. Now, identifiers are items that we're going to use to identify variables, constants, functions down the road, and whatever else we want to declare and communicate and define to the computer to run and use. Okay, so there are certain rules that we have to follow when creating an identifier, and that's what we're going to talk about here. They're very simple. We're going to keep it as simple as possible for us. For all projects, you want to try to do that. This is not a security issue at this point. This is just hey, we want to communicate to people that we're coding with what these things are. All right. So you saw in my project, I was using the words length, width, diag length for my variables. Well, that's because they meet the criteria for identifiers. So let's take a look at the criteria. All right. These are the words, first off, that you cannot use. So the first piece of criteria are, there are some words set aside that C++ does not allow you to use or recreate, and defined differently than the way it is, it's going to be a problem. So if you look in here, there's a lot of things. There's const, for, if. For those of you that have programmed before, int, you saw that. There's the return, you saw that in the program. The word include, notice, is not in here. That's because it's a number sign include. That's a different idea. So some of the things that are in the project, we should still stay away from. Like we shouldn't use the word include. We shouldn't use the word cin. We shouldn't use the word cout. But notice they're not in the list. Okay? But still stay away from those because they're defined for something else. They have another purpose. They have another meaning. So we shouldn't redefine them and just use them just for sake of using them. All right? So that's a long list. All right? But one of the things we always try to do with identifiers is we want to make them descriptive. So in your algebra classes, you use variables x and y. So you might independent and dependent variables there. We don't use x and y here. The reason we don't is because it's not descriptive enough. If you're going to be playing with x and y points, I'm sure you're going to play with more than one point in your project. So therefore, you need to have definitive values for those. All right. So notice one thing here, it can be more than one word, and when we do that, we do this little camel case. You saw that in my project. I'll show it again in my example. You can see this is very easy to read. This is representing items ordered. So this variable is going to bring in or keep track of how many items were ordered, or maybe your shopping cart for your local your web store that you're working on or shopping at. There's a variable in there keeping track of how many items you put in the shopping cart. All right. Very easy to define. So here are the rules. All right, the first character. So when you create one, the first character of this identifier must be an alphabetic character or the underscore. I'm going to tell you stay away from the underscore. That has special meaning, and we use that separately. So for things we're going to be doing in this class, do not use the underscore. Just use letters, the 26 letters. All right. Now, it doesn't specify capital or lowercase. I will tell you this, that all variables will always be all lowercase. We do that unless it's that camel case you saw me use there for items ordered with the capital O, but always all lowercase. All right. Constants, things that we're going to create, say this number is never going to change. Like let's say sales tax is 0.06. Well, that's going to be all caps. So we have these little monikers you'll see as we go through our examples of how we build them. But for our sake, all variables and identifiers typically are always all lowercase in C and C++. Okay. After the first character, you may use alphabetic characters. You can use another one. All right, makes sense, right? The word length is all full of letters. But now you're also open up, you can use numbers. So you can use the digits 0 through 9. So there's a total of 10 digits that you can use included. And still the underscore if you need to. All right. We don't use the underscore as much now in the middle. We use the camel case. That's now the trend for coders. Okay. Upper and lowercase characters are distinct. So that's something we want to keep track of, that if for some reason you use a variable like let's say your first name and you wrote it in all lowercase letters like Alvin, all right, and then the next time you used it as capital A, you capitalized Alvin because that's what we do in English and in proper writing. The program now thinks it's two different things. So they're distinct. So we have to maintain consistency. And again, our consistent rule says all variables should be lowercase. All right. So let's take a look at a couple examples before we go back to the project for our final wrap up. Total sales, you can see there's that camel case, all lowercase except the second word, which makes sense. So your eyes pop to the capital letter and you can read total sales. It's a little quicker to read. Readability is good. So that's valid. You can see we can also separate it with that underscore. That, again, we don't do this as much anymore, though it's still permissible, and you might see it through your days and ages of coding coming in the future, but it's legal. All right. Total dot sales is not allowed because you may not use any punctuation. No punctuation is allowed in variable notation. The only piece of punctuation symbology is this underscore that you're allowed to use. All right. You may not start with a number, so fourth quarter sales. Not good. Maybe you want to do quarter 4 sales. That would be better. And total sales with beginning a little funny, a little funky with the dollar sign for an S. Again, you can't do that, even though that's pretty cool and hip. We can't do that. That's not the program. The computer can't recognize that. That symbol is represented for something else, and therefore it has its own reserved piece. So we don't include the symbols into variables for that reason. Okay, so we'll get into this part of the video in the next video. But let's wrap up by looking at my project one last time. So you can see my identifiers: length, width, perimeter,